Hello everyone and welcome to the Healthy Lunchbox Cook-Along. Croeso a bocsys bwyd iach coginio ar y hyd. It's a lovely Saturday, and what is a better day to make on a Saturday than some delicious me-sized pizzas. And I'm going to be having a pizza party tonight, and these delicious pizzas are wonderful in bocsys bwyd iach, a healthy lunchbox as well, and I promise you are going to really enjoy it, because bread making is one of my favourite things that I do here at Cooking Together. We're going to get started. I've given my hands a little wash before we start the session. I'm just going to pop on a little bit of antibacterial gel and shigla, and now we are ready. So let's get cracking. So you can see just here, we're going to be making a really basic bread dough today, and if you've had a bad day, bread making is one of those things that's absolutely amazing. You can really get your anger out on the bread, right? Now then, the basic bread dough, which is available on our website and also will be on the Happy Facebook page later, is basically you need 200 grams of strong bread flour, okay? And you need strong bread flour basically because it's got what we call a higher gluten content, and I'll talk more about that afterwards, right? To make it slightly healthier, I'm also going to add some wholemeal bread flour as well. Now then, I know that lots of us are struggling to get bread flour at the moment. So for pizza making in particular, okay, because we don't want our pizzas to rise too much, we're actually just going to use some plain flour today, or half and half, and things like that. It still will work. It won't be as stretchy, but it'll work just as well for our little pizza making. So the basic recipe. And then we've obviously got our yeast that we're going to add, some mixed herbs, and we've got some oil and water. So let's get cracking. Now, if you're a younger person, please make sure that you've got a nice clear area to do your cooking in. Make sure you've washed your hands as well. And in particular, when we're popping things in the oven, please make sure that there is an adult there to help and supervise you as well. So what we'll do, the first part I've already done. And that is the weighing and measuring, right? So just in my bowl, just there, you can see the ingredients list. Can't get my words out. I don't know what's happening this week, right? I'll take a breath and I'll start again, right? The basic recipe for our bread making is that you need 200 grams of bread flour, okay? Now, as I said, I didn't have much bread flour today, so I'm going to be using half plain flour, and you can see I've got 75 grams of plain flour just there. I've got 75 grams of strong bread flour, and then I've got 50 grams of wholemeal flour, just to increase that fibre content. But whatever type of flour you use, you need 200 grams to start with, right? Preferably of that strong bread flour. Then we're going to add our raising agent, which is our little bit of yeast just there. Now there's lots of different types of yeast that you can get from the supermarkets. I strongly suggest, if you can see that just there, that you're getting the easy bake yeast, right? Basically, that takes bread making from about 4 hours if you're using fresh yeast, 24 hours if you're using a sourdough culture, down to about 45 minutes, right? And all that we're going to do, this little packet just here will make up to 500 grams of, it will be enough for 500 grams. I'm just going to add it all just in like that. And you can see, if I hold it up to the bowl, it just looks like sand, right? I haven't been to Barry Island Beach, I promise, right? But this yeast is just a living thing, just like us, right? When it's in a packet, it's fast asleep, okay? Just like I was at 9 o'clock this morning, as it was a Saturday, right? But we now need to wake him up, right? So we're going to add some food, which is in the form of the flour, and we're going to add some water in the form of a drink, just like that, right? But we're going to add some extra flavour. I'm not going to add any extra salt. I'm going to add some mixed herbs, and I want approximately, I'm hoping you're able to see that just in there, approximately half to 1 teaspoon of mixed herbs just in like that. And then I'm just going to give it a little mix, not the pop group. Get my joke? A little mix, but not the pop group, right? Okay, then, okay, I'm mixing well, she's cymysgu, right? And we'll talk more about that afterwards. Now then, we have got our water. And our water just here, I got way too much water just here. And actually I've just used normal tap water as well, right? But, okay, the way that I like to make bread is you can always add more water, but you can't take any out. So we're going to add 3 little bits to start with, then we give it a little mix, then we add another 3, and we keep on going until we get our lovely bread dough. So I'm just going to make a little well in the centre, and I'm going to add in, die, a tree. Then I'm going to give it that little kamuski. So I kamuski, mix until it has absorbed all that liquid. So it needs that flour, that yeast needs some another drink, right? Because he's still thirsty. So I'm going to add in, die, a tree, and then I give him another really good mix. Kamuski. And you can see that he's started to absorb most of that liquid. But although it's starting to come to a dough, I need to add a little bit more water, because the wetter the better, they say, when it comes to bread making, but not too wet, right? Okay, so I'm just going to add in, die, a tree, and then we're going to give him a really good kamuski. So I'm going to start off slow, kamuski, and we're going to keep on going until we eventually get a ball of dough. Your bowl will come nice and clean, and I should be able to pick him up just like that. If I hold him over my head, right, he shouldn't fall off, but my bowl will be nice and clean just like that. So that is my perfect bread dough. Now, if you end up adding too much water, do not panic. Just add some more flour, right? Because we're only using 200 grams, we've got the scope of adding more flour, and that yeast will still work, right? So I'm just going to pop that just over there, and then I'm going to show you 2 ways of kneading, right? So I'm just going to pop that just there. Now, normally I would knead just straight on to a work surface, right? But I'm trying to be nice and clean today, clean and tidy, keep my mess to a minimum. So I'm going to knead on this little tray just here. So my first job, right, is I'm going to pop a little bit of flour out above on the tray or on the table, right? And then I'm going to rub my basydd just in the flour like that, and then I'm going to rub my hands, and then I got nice floury hands. Now then, what we're going to do is I'm going to get my dough onto there, but rather, not going to waste any, excuse me one sec, let's pop that over there. Rather than getting my hands in straight away, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend it's like a hot potato, right? Or apparently we don't play hot potato anymore. Apparently it's called fireball, whatever you want to call it, right? Using my fingertips, not my hands, I'm just going to roll it in that flour just like that. So hot in Welsh is poeth. So you poeth, hot, poeth. So you're rolling it in that flour, right? Now then, if there's one of 2 of you at home, you could halve that and make your individual pizzas, right? But I'm going to cut it in half, and I couldn't find a knife, so I'm just going to use my makeshift fork, and I'm going to use the handle as my little knife, right? I'm going to knead that in a different way in a couple of moments, but to knead arabodd on the table, and knead in Welsh is tylino. So tylino arabodd, knead on the table, we go into fold, push and turn. Plygu, gwthio, troi. So watch, with my fingertips, I fold. With my knuckles, I push and I turn. I fold, push and turn. Excuse me one sec. My tray is running everywhere. So if you're going to be doing it on a tray and it's rolling everywhere, just pop a little damp cloth just underneath. I'm hoping that might stop it from wobbling, sort of, right? So fold, push and turn. Fold, push and turn. Plygu, gwthio, troi. Plygu, gwthio, troi. Fold, push, turn. And this is where you can really get your anger out, right? If you do this, fold, push and turn, you're making a really good dough. However, I see lots of people kneading in many different ways. I usually see younger children, right, particularly the boys, so banging it like that, you won't do anything to your dough. Your dough won't become nice and stretchy. And I also see very quiet, polite young ladies doing this. Fold, push, turn. Fold, push, turn. If you do either of those, the punching or the very nice kneading, right, you will make rubbish bread, okay? So what you want to do is fold, push and turn. Fold, push and turn. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to stretch the gluten in the flour, because the more stretchy it is, when our yeast, that's that living thing, he's had his food, he's had his water, it's going to start breathing that carbon dioxide. And as long as your bread is stretchy, your dough is stretchy rather, your bread will start to rise. So you will need, like that, with your hands for approximately 5 minutes, right? But I'm going to show you a different way as well. If you want a slightly less messy way, then I really like to knead in a bag, okay? Tolino mewn a bag, right? And all I'm going to do is, into my little bag, I've got 2 spoonfuls of vegetable oil just there, and I'm just going to rub that all together just like that, so it doesn't stick to the bag. And then I can pop that just onto there, just as so, and I'm just going to pop that just over here. Just 1 second, we're coming back to that in a couple of moments. I can give my table a little clean, and then we can start to knead. Right now, to knead like this, all that we're going to do is we're going to do 10 presses and then 10 squeezes with a little shake in between. So for this one, make sure you've got the bag just there. We're going to press 10 times, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see it's really, really super flat. And then we've got the best bit. All you're going to do is you start to knead it. Are you ready? You shake it rather. Shake it like that, right? Shigla, 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 add a ball, and you've got it just as so. Then we're going to squeeze it, right? So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I give it a little shigla. Shigla just like that. It all comes to the bottom, and then you can carry on doing like that. And your challenge is, again, you're going to do 100 presses and 100 squeezes with that shake in between, and you'll end up with that perfectly kneaded dough. Now then, I have, in true Blue Pizza style, here's some that I made earlier, and I have left it, excuse me 1 second, I have left it to rise a little bit because I wanted to show you, right, that was the same quantity just there. If I hold that one up, you can see that it's the carbon dioxide has been produced and it's started to rise really well. Now the great thing, another great thing about kneading in a bag just like this, is that anything that you don't use today can go into the freezer and you can use it at a later date. So it's a really, really good way of kneading. Now then, we're going to make these little me-size pizzas today, right? Because it's all about not having those massive dominoes, but having that me-size meal that's really healthy for us. And if I pull that out, and I'm going to do it on my little trays today just here. If you haven't got those, and I got these from one of those shops, you know, that does lots of home bargains, right? Home bargains, right? But you can get them from lots of others. If you haven't got one of those, I got this little sandwich tin from, you can get them from places like Asda's and Pound World, and believe it or not, they're £1 as well, right? But they're really good and non-stick as well. Or you could make out of that one a massive pizza just like that, and then obviously have just little slices as well. So all that we're going to do is, I need my little bit of flour. Where's my flour gone? Just there. And on my little surface just here, I'm going to pop just a little bit of flour. I've probably got enough for 3 little pizzas just here. And what I tend to do is, I'm not going to use my fingers, I just do a little kilch, right? A kilch. Turn it round just like that, so you've got that flour all spread out. Then, this is the best bit, you can get your dough out just like that. And you go straight onto there. And then, as I said, this is probably enough to make 3 little pizzas. So all I'm going to do is, I'm going to take one off there, one off just like that, and you can see that I have got my pizza dough's just there. Now if I hold that up, you can see my little pizza dough just like that, right? So all that we're going to do now is we're going to pat him down, flatten him down. You don't need to use a rolling pin for the smaller ones. If you're using the bigger ones just like that, then you may need to start using that bit just there, right? But we're just going to use our hands, right? Because we've got a wonderful tool just here, which is our llaw. So a bit of flour ar y llaw, okay? And then all that you're going to do is you press and turn. Press and turn. Gwasgu troi. 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 And you can see I've started to make that little circle shape. Press and turn, gwasgu troi. 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 I'm going to make 2 today, right? So I'm going to do it once again. So press and turn, gwasgu troi. Press and turn, gwasgu troi. If it comes off the table like it just did, right? Just put it back on, right? Press and turn, gwasgu troi. Press and turn, gwasgu troi. Press and turn, gwasgu troi. Press and turn, gwasgu troi, until you get that little piece of dough just like that, right? You'll have a bit more time when you're making yours. Excuse me 1 second. You'll have a bit more time to actually get those into a nice circular shape. So let's get cracking with making these little pizzas. So what I have got just here is I'm just going to tidy my area up. I'm just going to pop that just down just like that, and then I've got enough space for my other bits, and I'm hoping that you're able to see my little tray just there. Can you see that? I think you can. So what we've got is we now need for our little pizza bases, we need to add the tomato topping, and then the cheese, and then we've got some llysia, some vegetables to pop on. So you've got a couple of choices when it comes to your tomato sauce. I'm today going to be using some of this passata, and passata is basically just sieved tomatoes, right? So it's a can of tomatoes without all of those lumps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in 2 a 3. In 2 a 3 just on there, and then I've got a wonderful spoon just here, and I'm just going to spread it over just like that. Now then, when it comes to pizza making, there's 2 little options that you've got, right? I've met some people, right? And someone in my family, actually, I'm not going to mention who it is, but Gethin, my nephew, right, that doesn't like the crust of a pizza. I can't believe it, right? But he really doesn't like the crust of a pizza. So what I tell him to do, so this one, you can see, I've left a little gap around the edge, just like that, right? However, okay, we can do a get-in pizza, right? A crustless pizza. And all that you're going to do just like that is you are just going to spread all the sauce right to the edge just like that, and that means that you don't have a crust on your pizza, right? So that means that you can eat it all the way right to the edge just like that, and you won't have any sort of crust on your pizza, right? Now to that, I'm just going to sprinkle on some of my obligatory mixed herbs. Okay, so obligatory mixed herbs just like that. Remember, we're not adding any extra salt to this, so we want to add as much flavour. Now, if you haven't got passata, then you could easily water down some tomato puree and spread that over, and you've got a perfect little pizza, right? So I'm just going to move those just over there, because this is the next bit that I want. And obviously the next bit is that we need some cheese on top of our pizza. So I've got my little bit of cheese, and because these are me-sized pizzas, that is the recommended daily amount of cheese that we should be eating, but we're going to be using half of it. And as long as you grate it, as long as you choose a mature flavour cheddar, then you're going to get that cheesy flavour anyway. And there's lots of different graters that you can get. You could use one of those box graters. However, I'm going to use my little favourite IKEA sort of rotary grater just here, and obviously my cheese just goes into there like that. Now I know I've had a few messages that people can't get to IKEA at the moment, and if you do get to IKEA you're having to wait 4 or 5 hours, as I found out the other day, so I drove off, okay, to actually get in. So there are lots of different options, not quite as good. This one I got, I'm not going to tell you which online store it was, eBay, okay, and that was about £6 on eBay. Works just the same, it's not quite as sturdy, right, but you can still get your cheese in there and you can still grate it round just like that. But I'm going to show you with my little IKEA one. So my cheese goes mewn a grater just there, and all you're going to do is try a tap. Turn and turn and turn and tap, turn and turn and turn and tap, turn and turn and turn and tap. I'm going to do the other one as well. So that was my crustest one, and this is my crusty one. So try a tap, try a tap, try a tap, turn and turn and turn and tap. So you've got all of your cheese just on like that, and all I'm going to do is just spread it over just as so. Then we've got our toppings, and you can see I've got lots of different toppings just there. You could add a little bit of ham or some tuna, or you could do a Hawaiian, you could do a ham and pineapple, tuna and pineapple, right? But I've just got some peppers just here, and I'm going to have my tomato right in the centre, and then all I'm going to do is pop my peppers on just like that, and I've got these just here, and obviously these will help towards my 5 a day as well. I've then, in this one, just my crusty pizza, I'm going to pop some sweet corn right in the centre. And for this one, I've got those. You could add whatever vegetables you wanted. Mushrooms work really well on here as well. And mushrooms in Welsh is one of my favourite words, is madach. Okay, so we've got those just there, and I'm just going to pop one of those just into there, because I know that we like our little bits just like that. So that just there, I'm hoping you're able to see in the screen, is my crusty pizza, okay, and that is my crustless pizza just there. Now these will bake in the oven at 190 degrees centigrade for approximately, that sort of size will take about 10 to 15 minutes. A larger one will take about 15 to 16 sort of minutes. So not a huge amount. As long as it's a hot oven, then you'll be sorted. Now I'm very lucky just here. I know that I've been using this oven just behind me, but that's actually a proper pizza oven. It's on quite a high temperature at the moment, and in there I can cook my pizzas in about 4 minutes. So I'm hoping, touching wood, that I'm able to cook these pizzas today in real time. But I've got some that I made earlier. So I've got my little pizza paddle just here. So I'm just going to pop my first pizza in just like that. That goes onto there. I've got my second pizza. And if we have a little timer, we're looking for about 4 minutes. So just while those are cooking off, I'm going to give my table area a little wipe over and a little wipe clean down, because I want to show you my little healthy lunchbox that we can serve as with our me-sized pizzas. So grab yourself a little drink, okay, and I'll see you in about 2 minutes, okay? Back in the room. Okay, so we have got our little healthy sort of lunchbox today, and you can see I'm going down the Minions route today, right? And you can see wobbles like a little minion as well. But these healthy lunchboxes, I didn't pay a huge amount for this one. I think this was about a £5 in places like Asda's and things like that. I don't know what's happening with my bottle of water today. But the great thing about these is that it's nice and insulated, so that if you are taking you know, food that needs to be kept cool, like this little yogurt, into school or into work or wherever you're, or a picnic or things like that, it's going to keep it nice and cool. I've got my little cool box just there. But with my little pizza, and here's one that I prepared earlier, you can see that this is a crusty sort of pizza, right? All the sides have now well risen. You've got your tomato, your vegetables have all cooked off, you've got your cheese all cooked off, and it smells absolutely glasses iawn. Now you could cut that into little quarters and that would be a really good lunch item in your healthy lunchbox. And we're going to serve that today with some Muller Light sugar-free and low-fat sort of yogurt, a fruity one just there. And then we're going to help towards our 5 a day. I've got slices of pineapple, so slices of pineapple. I've got some melon just there, and I've also got some mavis, some strawberries. So you're actually getting quite a balanced sort of meal. You've got your carbohydrate, but because we put the wholemeal flour in there, it's higher in fibre, which is going to help to keep us fuller for longer, but also that food moving around in our bodies. We've got our 5 a day just there, a portion of fruit to help towards our 5 a day. We've got our dairy from the yogurt. We've got our water to keep ourselves rehydrated. So this, I'm calling this a pizza party for one. So this, if I hold him up, and I'm hoping that my little minion won't wobble. Oh, he's gone down again. But I'll pop that down. If I hold that up, you have got your pizza party for one, and I promise you it's absolutely delicious. And as I said, my pizzas would only take about 4 minutes, and you can see that is my little crustless pizza just there. So if you really don't like crusts, they are absolutely delicious. And the great thing about these little pizzas is that you can have them, and they can store them in the freezer or the fridge overnight, and then when you have them for lunch, they are absolutely glasses iawn. Super tasty. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed today's cook along. Don't forget that all the recipes are available on our website, which is cookingtogether.co.uk/healthy-lunchboxes in the healthy lunchbox section, and they're also available on our Facebook page. I look forward to cooking with you again in the future, but in the meantime, coginnia hapus.